Hey, Claire,
Hi.
how you doing?
So good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, and I don't know about you, but I've been feeling very heavy the last couple of days. Have you been feeling that?
I ish. I would say ish. There's been a couple things here and there, but yeah, I would say I think overall consensus with other people as well. Yes.
Have you been? Have you felt like today's an Aries day, so people are highly reactive, like going off, like yeah. You got that yourself?
I was on my social media right now, and I woke up to a ton of messages talking about the baby, and I usually never talk back, or I usually never message back and just ignore it. But I was like, mm.
So when's the baby due?
Just do it in mid-January.
Mid-January. And for those of you guys who don't know, you're using a surrogate.
We are. Yeah.
Yeah. How does that feel?
Amazing, amazing. It was one of those things where at first I think when you don't know what a surrogate is, when you don't know kind of what that looks like and you're hoping for a different outcome, it's kind of like, okay, what is this? What's going on? And then the more I looked into it, the more we thought about it, the more it was like, this is just our way of our baby coming to us, and however she comes to us, we are so excited. So she's tucked away safe and like growing healthy with our surrogate, who's amazing. Trust her with the world, treat her, she feels like family. So it's something so beautiful to me, and how our baby's coming to us.
Do you feel the nesting instinct?
Totally. I have felt it since the beginning. For some reason, it was like,
Huh.
I used to tell Ryan all the time, even when the baby was like 3 months old, or 12 weeks along, 14 weeks along, I was like, I need to start getting blankets for her because I want her to be cozy and warm. And Ryan's like, it's a little bit away, but I just started getting it. And actually, nesting a little extra has helped me feel connected as well, and like look forward to it all, because I'm not growing a bump. So it's helped me a
Right.
lot, like looking forward to it and planning.
And so how does Ryan, like, does he feel connected to it? Is he not sure yet? Where's he at?
He totally is. He's the one who, when I mean, this is why I just adore him. We'll lay in bed at night, and he's like, we'll be talking about names, or he'll bring up things all the time. He'll be like, what about this name? Or he'll look at me, and we'll kind of have the eye contact if we see like a cute little baby. And because I'm fully convinced she's going to come out with like curly blonde hair and blue eyes for some reason. I don't even have blue eyes. I keep telling him that. I'm like, she's going to come out with curly blonde hair and blue eyes. And he's like, we'll see a little baby with curly blonde hair and blue eyes. And he'll be like, so he loves it.
So so did you pick a name?
We have settled on like three or four.
Yeah.
And then I think when she comes out and we see what she looks like, or we get a feeling for her, that's when we'll go, okay, that's what it is.
So in Aboriginal cultures all over the world, what they say is that the birth process starts not with the conception or the sex. It starts with the idea in the mother's head, which is your head. That's right. And they say that the baby whispers the name to the mother.
I told you this story, right?
Oh, no. Actually, I published a whole article about it years ago. But tell me the story.
Stop! I feel like you're playing a trick on me. Okay, so yes, for the last 10 years, I've literally been having dreams about this baby girl coming to me. And it's always, I go pick her up at the hospital. It's always been, I go get her, or I go get the car seat because she's here and I have to like prepare for her. It's never me carrying the baby. And my final dream, I haven't had a dream about her in a while because she's already like on her way to us, I guess. But I dreamt that she sat, like, I don't know how, because babies are babies, but she told me, like, I knew her name. And she told me what her name was, and I knew
There
it.
you go.
Yeah, so it's on the
Yeah,
list.
because from a metaphysical standpoint, they're in your energy, waiting to come in. And
Oh, I feel it. I felt it for so long.
so that brings the next question. So the baby's waiting to come in. You've already got an idea. You've already got a picture. You're already starting to nest,
Yep.
and you're getting names. So have you done the room?
Totally. We definitely have. I mean, are you kidding me? I've been doing it since the beginning. I'm like collecting little things here and there. And it's so special too, because it's a big kind of like honor to my mom. My mom, I don't know if I've shared with you before, but my mom has Alzheimer's and dementia. and she's in the very last stages of it on hospice right now.
Yeah.
She doesn't have where it is in her brain. It affects her speech and her muscles the most, and so the muscle memory. And so with her, she loves to sing "You Are My Sunshine." That's like the only thing she can kind of mouth, and I can understand what she's saying a little bit. Nothing else. I can't even get a yes or a no sometimes from her. And so when I sing "You Are My Sunshine," and when she kind of repeats it back to me when we're singing it, I decided the baby's room is going to be the "You Are My Sunshine" theme, and just to have her kind of.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you? Oh, look who's here.
Well, I heard the baby talk, so
I know, there you are.
Say,
how are you?
I'm really doing well, and you look like you're doing very well too.
You look like you're glowing, actually.
Yeah. Really?
Like significantly different than when I first met you.
Oh my God. I mean, a huge difference, you guys. It's been transforming. And just, I mean, like I said, when I talked to you guys, it was like I had talked to doctor after doctor after doctor, and they were just throwing medicines at me. While I understand that's helpful and beneficial in so many ways and a fix for a lot of things, to me, it just felt like a Band-Aid for what I was going through, and it wasn't really helping me. I had to share with other people, there was a lot of eczema, major inflammation going on in my body that I just couldn't figure out what it was. And until, even like I said, Gary, we were talking about it, was like going to the doctors, they're addressing the skin issues, or they're addressing, the rash, or calming down the redness, but they weren't addressing what was causing this. And that's why I reached out to you guys, was like, okay, I've had all the blood work, I've had everything. How do we get to the root of this? Because it's too much. It's too much to sit here and say, I'm just going to be doing medicine forever. We're not solving it.
And you haven't actually, and here's an important part, is that you actually haven't been doing the fascial maneuvers or working with us for that long. It's only been a short period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I've been doing that. I've also, the Kirk 30 has been like a game changer for me in inflammation. That I'm kind of, Ryan always makes, I mean, we talk about this, like, I'm queen of supplements. I love supplements. I find them very beneficial. There's some though that I feel like I take that I've been like, I don't know.
You don't know. Yeah.
Maybe it is, maybe it's not. When I take the Kirk 30, I can feel within like minutes, I can feel a difference in my body.
So let me tell you something about it. It's basically, it's what pharmacology was naturally supposed to be. What we did is we isolated the active ingredient, which is called the third curcuminoid, called biobisdomoxycurcumin, its technical name. But we took that, it only occurs at the best 1% in nature, and most of the times it's not even there. And we put 30% of that, so it's actually pharmacology, and then put back into the natural source, which is curcumin. So there's no side effects. And so basically, it's pharmacology. You take one tablet and it's equal to 100 of anything else.
Yeah.
Powerful. I take 3.
Yeah.
Extra powerful.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll send you out some more too. Yeah, because it makes such a difference. Yeah. And what else do you notice, actually? Because right away that deals with the skin issues and with the brain fog issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, that has helped tremendously. The biggest thing for me, what I notice, is that it's helped for me with the root of what I have felt like the problem is, which is inflammation. And when you're reducing the inflammation, when I've reduced the inflammation in my body, that's when my food is, like, I eat really, really good and healthy and clean the best I can. But if it's inflamed in there, it's not going to be digesting it. It's not going to be processing.
Yes.
It's just kind of like there. And it's hard for all the nutrients and everything to absorb. So I was getting to the end of, like, I was losing a little bit of weight and started noticing my body having some effects of, like, not absorbing everything correctly. So I was like, I'm eating all this stuff right? Why is it not kind of like nourishing me properly? So when I reduce the inflammation in my body, I can tell now that my food is absorbing. I can tell now that my food is doing what it's supposed to be doing for me when I eat the right stuff.
You know what? Legitimately, you look 10 years younger. Like, it's really shocking.
Really?
Because as we're talking, I'm looking more. Well, we've got photos, so yeah. I mean, taking another photo and comparing it. If you want to send another photo, I got the original ones. I'll put them side by side because your eyes are bright now. And that's a big...
Thank you so much. I feel like it, and I feel even honestly, there's like reducing inflammation in the body. Like I cannot speak enough about what that does for the body. I wasn't sleeping good. I was sleeping 2-3 hours a night, even like an hour at a time. Like I wear the Oura ring, and it was like my sleep was just awake asleep, rolling over asleep. I couldn't sleep comfortably because I was so inflamed. My skin was so inflamed. Even rolling over was like exhausting to me, and like, oh, I got to wake up to roll over. It was brutal. And I've just been like snuggling every day. I've been sleeping like 9.5 hours, 10 hours, soaking it in while I can before the baby.
It's like you're going through all the baby stuff anyways, right? You're sleeping everywhere. Totally.
But it's just been like amazing to reduce the inflammation and what the after effects are that. It's not just the skin. It's not just one thing. It's the whole systems of the body that when you reduce the inflammation, all the where the disease starts, it's like it's made a huge difference. Brain fog, that's huge. So, I mean, all of it.
So let's do a few things because you had the explant surgery. There's some compression around there.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a few maneuvers to start off with?
I would love it. This is so beneficial, not only to me, but to I feel like other people, because it's like, what do we do? Help us.
Oh yeah, for sure. So do you feel any? If you breathe, do you feel constriction anywhere around here?
I feel it right where my scars are, right here.
Okay. So what I want you to do is take your right hand on your right breast and pull it up. Take your left hand on your rib cage flat and pull it down, like pulling it away.
Twisting it almost. Okay.
Okay, and then just start moving and breathe. And really stretch it like you're trying to rip off your breast.
Let me get some good grip on the skin here. There we go.
And bend over to your left. And breathe deep. It's the oxygen that's actually pushing into that tissue. You're making the space and you're like blowing into it. Okay, now the reverse the hands. Take the left hand, pull upwards towards the center of the body, and the right hand pulling down. You'll feel stretching coming right through there. Okay. And then breathe.
Breathe like you're breathing right into your hands.
And then fold over to your left, and you see how I fold over to my left? What that does, and bend your knees a little bit, and what that does is that opens up that side of the chest, opens up the scar tissue.
You know what's so interesting is the breathing. I was talking about it last week. I know we were talking about it. When you have breast implants, you don't realize how shallow you're breathing and how much pressure is on you. It becomes a pattern of just very shallow breathing with how heavy they are. And it felt normal at the time. And then when I had them taken out, it was like, I had to I still have to really like retrain myself how to breathe properly.
So try breathing right now consciously and see what's different between your right and left side.
It feels more open. It totally feels more open.
So yeah, because the breathing, the rib cage has to expand and the scar is right there. Now what I want you to do is grab both ends of the scar and pull them apart. It's going to hurt a little bit. And then just pull the scar apart and again move and breathe. And really pull it apart.
I love that it's our body just using it to our own advantage, you know? The movement.
Yeah, the movement is what actually does it. It's like if you just pull it apart, it's a very small effect compared to moving and then breathing.
That's why I love you guys. It's like there's no extra weights, no extra like
you don't have to buy anything.
You don't have to buy anything crazy. It's like our own body weight moving how it's supposed to be moving. Imagine that, right?
You don't have to buy anything.
Nope.
Okay, now the next one is take your left hand and you got your center bone, the xiphoid there. You wanna dig in and just pin the skin against your xiphoid. So like take the right hand, go underneath the rib cage, and yours are really tight, I remember.
Yep.
So like right hand grab in there and stretch the skin down underneath the rib cage like you're trying to open up underneath.
This
Stretch
one hurts.
Away. And breathe.
That one's tough for me.
Yeah. Oof. Should be a big release in there.
That's a tough. Yeah, my ribs are very, very tight. So many people after they get explanted have indentations in their ribs where their breast implants sit. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now take a deep breath and see how it feels.
One of the greatest feelings, right? Taking a really good, easy, deep breath.
Okay, now watch this.
Okay.
Walk around a little bit and see how your right side feels to your left side.
Lighter. It's a lot lighter.
Everything is, right? Even the hip. So
Really
it's
is.
all one unit. Like we don't move through our hips, we move with our whole body. Swings.
Yep. Feels
Okay, so let's do
so
the other
good.
side. Let's take your right hand, pull the left breast upwards, and take your left hand on the rib cage and stretch downwards. Get a good grip on it. Move around. Really stretch it apart. And this is actually your spleen area too, and your stomach, which means spleen is worry and stomach is desire.
This is where I was having all the back issues on this side that I was sharing with you before. All right here, remember?
Yeah.
It has been this one's helpful for me today too because it's been tight. It's been really tight.
Yeah.
It's all connected though, I know that.
Yeah, super much. It really is all connected. Okay, now let's do it the other way. Take the left hand, pull it up, and the right hand, pull it across. So you can feel the stretch, and it's going to change on everybody. So you just do the best you can, and you're just restricting the fascia and moving and breathing.
Feels so good.
Yeah. Okay. Now, right where the scar is, grab both ends of the scar, pull it apart, and then move again and breathe. I mean, I get a lot of release out of that.
Right?
Yeah, because even guys, that area is where spleen activates. That's worry.
Everybody's got the capability of worry.
Okay, right hand on the center bone, the xiphoid. Left hand grabbing underneath the rib cage and stretching as far as you can down that rib cage, opening it up. After a while, you'll be able to get under it like I am, but right now you're just stretching the skin over top of it.
Feels so good. That one's always painful for me. But just because
now move around a little bit and see if you feel equal. Take deep breaths.
Oh, feels so good. Feels so good.
Okay, let's do another one.
Okay.
So take your right hand, put your elbow up like this. Grab it with your left hand, turn the skin outward, over top of your head, and then lean over to your left.
I don't know if my shirt will go up.
Yeah, the best you can get. And then turn your head a little bit to the right and breathe in. Deep. 6 times. Okay, come on up. Now walk around and feel the difference. This is going to feel very different on the whole right side of your body to the left side.
Feels like it opens everything up over here.
Right. So basically when you take a deep breath in, that one lung opens like it's going like this and the other one feels restricted.
Yep.
So basically you're getting your body back to breathing again. Let's do the left side. Take this skin, torque it above your head. Lean over to your left and breathe in. Six times. Okay, now that one got me a little busy.
Just opens everything up.
Super open, right?
Yeah. Feels so good.
You said something that tweaked with me, and I have bigger breasts. And when you talked about the breathing and how it feels heavy it was feeling heavy for you with the implant. I just noticed it feels heavy for me too. And I have a tendency to do that, not deep breath. So that was really helpful for me to reverse engineer that for myself with the breath.
Yeah, it's almost like we don't realize how heavy they can feel.
Yes.
So what happens for her, because she's got a bigger chest naturally, she rolls in like this.
Yeah.
And that one there is opening up. When you get like that, it's just pulling the skin, like locking it right here, and then pulling the arm back. Yeah, and then stretching it.
I love that. Yeah, even I think I definitely subconsciously did that when I had the implants as well, because they were so big for me and felt so foreign.
Yeah.
For me, it was like I naturally kind of rolled in as well.
What it does is it rolls the shoulders forward. I think I got
Fascinating.
I got Rochelle.
Thanks,
so
Claire.
I had Rochelle. She's trying to come up now. She has a breast health. She was one of our first 6 people we ever trained practitioners, and she helps women with breast health, with fibroids, with breast cancer, all that kind of stuff, implants, explants. So, and she has a product called the breast mask.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Kind of like a mask for your face.
yeah.
And so, of course, I tried it.
You did.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, like I had the surgery too, so I might as well try the breast mask.
Why not?
Yeah. So I'm gonna get Rochelle. If you're in there, can you put a comment up? I can't. I tried to bring her up, but wasn't able to. I'll see if I can bring her up from the feed. Instagram's been doing some funny things here recently, and we're asking anybody who has a question about implants, explants, or anything, the emotions that went through it. We want to talk to some people live today.
I cannot wait for this. I'm excited.
Yeah, and we'll see if Rochelle gets up here in a second here. And so back to the surrogate for a second while we're waiting.
Yeah.
Do they have a lot of judgment about you having a surrogate?
I've had a couple comments here and there. I think a lot of it is curiosity. I think maybe they just haven't come to me with like the bad or the hard or the tough stuff, because I don't really care for me on the judgment part of it. I know what it's doing for me. I know what it's doing for our life and for this baby and for my dreams to come true. And so I don't know. I feel like in a way, if there is, I haven't heard much of it. And if there is, that they don't have to do it. Nobody's twisting their arm. Nobody's saying, you have to do this. You do this. It's our life. It's our baby. And it's just, an exciting thing. There's nothing but positivity about it.
Beautiful. That's
Beautiful.
the way it should be.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be.
Yep.
So hopefully this will work. I'm bringing up Ruby Jean Alders, and Ruby Jean is there. She is. Hi, Ruby Jean.
Good morning, you guys. Is everything hearing okay?
We can hear you okay. Now, Ruby Jean is a Gemini, and you're a Pisces. So technically, from a standpoint, you guys can technically don't get along, but I don't believe that to be true.
I get along with most anybody. If you're kind and loving, I will absolutely love and get along with you.
Totally. My husband is a Pisces rising, and that's exactly what he says to me.
Good
So I understand.
So Ruby Jean, a lot of our audience knows you, but you had some questions about the emotions about it, because why don't you just go ahead?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And this, I might get emotional as, this is very, very close to my heart. So I've always had small breasts, and so I grew up. So to make a long story short, my aunt, my mom's older sister, was very prevalent in our lives. And it started, actually, her son at 16 molested me when I was 3.5. And we smoothed that over. And since then, I would always go over to her house. Okay. About 11 years old, actually before that, about 8, 9 years old. She's a big blonde with huge boobs, like double D's, blonde hair, wears diamonds, is hilarious. Very funny woman. So I thought, and my mom had the smaller breasts. I didn't want to be like my mom. I was like, I'm going to be like Jennifer, and I'm going to have big breasts. I would put water balloons in my shirt. And then puberty hit, and I didn't get any. And I hate my body for it. I despise it. And those are very strong words, because I have hated my body where I've wanted to destroy it. I've gotten so sad where I've cut before, and cutting it's not for the attention. It's so I can go into a room, I can focus on something other than my emotional pain. And again, that's where the physical, where maybe I might, maneuvers would, obviously it's replacing that. I haven't cut for about it's been 2 years I've relapsed, and then before that I'm 32, so it was a lot in my 22s. So as I progressed, in my teens, I continued just that negative downward spiral. And then now I'm 32, I'm a mother of 2 children, I'm married, and I really want breast implants. I think my husband doesn't like my body, and that's not true whatsoever, but every time I have intercourse, I always think about my boobs. Every time I look in the mirror, I always see my boobs and I don't look at them. And my funny question was, Gary, my first question, does the maneuvers make my boobs bigger?
Well,
But
release the restriction, so there'd be more flow of water in there. But I don't think it's at the capacity that you're looking for. How does that impact you? Did you have any of that yourself?
I didn't have any. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I'm here and listening. I can totally relate to what you're saying, 1,000%. And the biggest thing for me, I had small boobs, I had big boobs when I got the implants put in, and I have back to my normal boobs now,
right,
which were before my implant. And I can tell you, as somebody from my experience, it was my mindset. It was never how my body physically looked, because I never hated them more than when they were in, and that's when I felt like if this makes sense, I felt like I was betraying my own body, to please others or to please the outside world. And it was doing a disservice to my body. It was doing a disservice, like I was betraying myself, I felt. And it wasn't until I started working on, I always kind of joked about this, where I thought, I should have put all that money I spent on the implants towards therapy, because for me, I know people can sit there and say, oh, it's easy because you had them and you know what it feels like. But when I shifted my mindset, and when I shifted my mentality towards feeling feminine and doing the things that made me feel feminine, and it wasn't just my breasts, it was, feeling sexy, feeling beautiful, loving my body and honoring my body, seeing what it does for healing, seeing what it does to nourish your children, and all this stuff that the breasts are so beautiful for, and the gifts that it's given you, just no matter how much tissue you have there or not, just feeling in your body and just loving it for what it is. It wasn't until that mind shift changed that I thought, there are so many things, beautiful, wonderful things about not having large breasts, not having implants, because for me, they didn't feel like my body. It wasn't like I had these gorgeous breasts that were natural. You know, it was inside my body that I chose to do for the external stuff. You know, it wasn't until I did that internal work that was like, oh, and even my size now, I barely have any boobs, but for me, it's like, I just love them for keeping me healthy. I love them for what they are. And regardless of how big or how little, I promise you, I guarantee you, your husband loves them.
Yes.
You know, so like I said, it's probably easier to say because there's a lot of things that get us to the point of wanting them.
Right.
A lot of experiences, maybe a lot of negatives. I have felt it all. Trust me, I've felt it all.
I understand, Claire. It's hard to put into words, but it's that energy that I understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like I said, easier to say, but I've been on both sides of it. And it's a mentality change of like genuinely feeling that in your body and in your heart.
Yes. Yes. And it's the guilt that we want to even have these breast implants, that we're doing a disservice to our bodies. And then when we, you know, because I literally think about getting breasts every single day.
I did too. I did too when I didn't have them. I genuinely thought about it every single day. It consumed me. And
yes,
it was like, until I have this, until I do this, until they look like this, I can wear these bras, I can do this, I can do that. And it wasn't what I thought when I got them.
So
okay.
Claire, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
What do you think was it that, I mean, there's the personal issue, but what was really driving, what hole was it that you were trying to fill?
I never felt good enough. I never felt, and I too was sexually abused as a child. I've shared about that. And I don't know if it ties into that. It was a sense of unworthiness in so many ways. It was choosing the wrong relationship.
Yes.
It was never choosing. I think it was kind of like a snowball where I didn't, you know, I was a child, a teenager. I didn't do the work on,
yes,
you know, feeling good enough for myself and feeling worthy. And how could this happen when I was little? And then choosing the wrong relationships, which in turn chose the wrong guys, which in turn didn't appreciate my heart and who I was as a person and what I had to give. And so it was always me feeling like I was falling short, where it was just kind of this embedded stuff in my little child brain that hadn't been healed.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I started doing the work of healing and really, truly, like I had the implants for 8 years. I was super, super sick. But when I started healing my mind and healing, you know, the part of me that was feeling unworthy of so many things, it really was then that it was like, oh, I love my body. This is what it's doing for me. It clicked for me. Yeah.
So you basically went through the journey of having them for 8 years, took them out, which 7 years is a human perception cycle. That's why every 7 years we want to change relationships or jobs or whatever. So, and now having them out, you've had the experience. Mm-hmm. So going back to that day, talk to yourself, Claire, 8 years ago when you didn't have them, and talk to yourself and just tell yourself what you would tell yourself now. And I think that's what Ruby Jean is.
Oh my God. I mean, it makes me so emotional because truly the hell that I've been through with the implants and how it's affected my entire life, I don't know where I would be. I don't know where I'd be. And sometimes I don't know if it takes, you know, going through stuff to learn these lessons, but I don't know if I'm just the catalyst for that for some people. But for me, I wish I could just tell like younger Claire, put that money towards therapy, put that money towards healing what the root is of why you want them, what you feel like you're lacking, or why you feel unworthy and not good enough, why you feel that this is what's going to make you beautiful. Because anybody who loves you, everybody who loves you, it's not your breasts. It has nothing to do with your boob size. It has nothing to do with your physical. It has everything to do with your heart. It has everything to do with your mind and everything to do with like who you are as a person. And you cannot, when you're so sick, which implants cause so much toxicity in the body, when you're so sick you can't give the best you have.
Yeah.
So,
And I was say, Ruby Jean,
Thank you.
you have kids, and
Yes,
Claire's having a child, and
I
now
heard that.
she's
Congratulations.
now at a spot where she can give her best, because there's days that you wouldn't have felt like having children when you were going through your journey.
Oh no.
having
Yeah.
having the implants caused a lot of fertility problems for me
You
because of the
right.
it created a lot of issues, and I don't think a lot of people correlate the two things. It affects
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one, because, and also birth control, because these toxicities of fixings ourselves, we're literally making ourselves sterile. And I have 2 children, but I had a stillborn in March, and I really believe there's some sort of, my body was very depleted. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. There's so many things that right in the sun. There's so many things that the implants cause and can affect in your system, like we've talked about. Inflammation alone
Okay.
kind of builds up over time, and you don't realize how it is affecting your body in so many ways. Even things where people attribute, oh, it's hormones, I'm getting older, just this is part of it. Like you said, even with the birth control, it's like it's you don't correlate the two,
Right.
but it affects so many different systems of your body.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
but just for you in general, for me, I've always said this, I will never tell people what to do. I can just speak from my experience, but I deeply encourage you to do the work for your heart, and
Yes.
because it will make the biggest difference, and you want to be so present for your children. And not only that, the shining example of unconditional love for yourself and what it means to put your health forward, and teach them and show them what it is like to be a strong woman,
Yes. And I mean, because I'm not going to do it. I really got literally close to doing it. And then as I'm doing it deeper, I just have that voice in my head, this is the work that I really need to focus on. This is why I'm here.
This is why
I'm here. Or one of the reasons. So I'm uncovering that, and also for my boys, really, I mean, they would be, I mean, I heard this joke, I'm Aquarius moon, and a lot of Aquariuses like being naked or very loose clothing. And what would my sons would definitely see a difference in me, and I would have to explain. And I talk very freely in my household, so they understand. I mean, not too much. I'm trying to not make them adults too early, but they would definitely see a change in me. And I definitely talk about how my low self-esteem makes me want to have boobs. So when I get them, I'm going to be, like you said last week, I would be covering them up. I think about this, it holds so much time in my head that I think about all these scenarios to help me not to get the breast implants. And I think it's God. Go on.
Gary and I were talking about it before a couple weeks ago, and even physically, they're covering your heart. They're blocking your heart energy. That speaks volumes to me, and it truly is just blocking everything.
And you wouldn't know until you took them out.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Ruby Jane, thank you so much for coming on. That's very vulnerable.
Thank you.
Appreciate you sharing what you're going through. I know a lot of young women are going through the same thing. That's. I mean, I could feel it. I could feel both of you guys, because Ruby Jean is like, how do I set the example for she's working. This is her journey. She's working through that journey right now, and because you've been through it, you can actually literally intervene and say it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, and I don't care. There's so many people. I get a bunch of questions too on my social media that's like, but I don't have problems. Like, I'm okay, I'm fine. And all I've ever always said is like, you're lucky. You're a rare, lucky one, because they all have the same ingredients. no matter if they're silicone, saline, they all have the same shell. They're all made out of the same shell. Formaldehyde, arsenics, nickel.
You know what? You don't know
Yeah.
until you take them out. And when you take them out, you've seen the calcification where they become crusted.
Mm-hmm.
So you literally don't know until you take them out, because the job of the brain is to make things normal. So if my body's becoming more and more stressed every day, it just becomes normal. And then when I remove it, then it's like it's like if you have a clock ticking in the background, tick 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 tick, and then it stops. Oh, what happened? Because your brain normalizes it. So that's why your journey was this important message, is I didn't even know what I didn't know.
Yeah, that's I go back and forth a lot of times, because people are like, oh, do you regret doing it? And I obviously regret doing it, but I don't know if I would know. I mean, I'm one of those people that's like, you don't know until you do it. And then it was like, oh yeah. But here's the thing too, when you know better, you do better. And now there is so much information out there. They're black box label warning, like they are toxic of all toxic. We didn't know that back then. Doctors didn't share when they put them in. They didn't share that with us. They didn't say this could happen or this is what it's going to do to you. They didn't tell you the ingredients of what it's made of and kind of educate you on this stuff. And now there's so many voices out there. There's so many people out there that are sharing and knowing and experiencing the effects of what they cause.
You know, I'll take a little bit for the doctors here, because they weren't trained. They were trained that this is okay, and it's now coming around that people are questioning, because they were taught, oh, it's all okay, and now we have, because you know my sister got implants 35 years ago, maybe, like when she got implants 35, 37 years ago, maybe almost 40 years ago. She got implants. But when she got implants, my sister, conservative little Texan girl, when she got implants, the only people got implants were porn stars and strippers.
Totally.
And she went through it. So what happened was my first wife was going to go get implants, and she says, I have to come and tell you something. And you know what's funny? As a kid, I didn't even see that. I didn't know. I didn't draw the connection. I didn't even realize. I didn't go. She went from completely flat to like a heavy C cup, right?
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm with you on that. When with the doctors, you're totally right. They think it was the most common surgery that they do is putting implants in. It's a super easy, quick, for the most part, surgery that they just put them in, they make good money, and you've got implants and you give women what they want. But now that we know more, and now that we know what it causes, everything, like I really do hope that they're kind of like stepping it up and informing patients of the risks of it all.
I think there's a change. They're the young doctors and new ones coming through that are, because we see them coming into our network. We have hundreds of thousands of doctors in our program somewhere, or like doing or following or whatever. And what I'm seeing right now, I get lots of messages from doctors, medical doctors of all kinds, either ortho surgeons, a lot of cosmetic doctors, and they're going, oh my God, how do I help my patients now? I've done something. I want a new way to go back and help them.
Like that.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy, because those are the doctors we need out there. Not one just to make a dime, not one just to do a quick, easy surgery, to actually care. And that's what is so important, the doctors that care.
Okay, that was pretty emotional. I bring up I think it's Katie, another person here, and it's interesting because the doctors who are making that change, they are very humble, and usually the ones who make the changes are the ones who've been about 7 years or 10 years doing something, and now they're starting to see the end result of it, saying there has to be a better way. But it's not necessarily the ones who came out first. It's like in the first couple of years they're still doing it, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that makes me so happy.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
What's your name?
Cindy Adams.
Hi, Cindy Adams. And where are you, Cindy Adams?
I'm great.
Whereabouts are you?
I am in San Diego.
San Diego. And Cindy, when's your birthday?
11/27.
Oh, you're Sagittarius.
Yeah,
Yeah, 5 degrees. You're Gemini Sagittarius.
I'm 4 degree.
Oh, 4 degree. Oh, you're an Aquarius Sagittarius.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about today's conversation?
Oh my gosh. I've had implants for 33 years. I just got them taken out in August.
Congrats.
Thanks. It was big. It was hard. I thought it was going to be really hard to do it because of I was so attached to them, but of course I had so much problems. And once I got explanted, 98% of everything went away. Immediately. It was amazing. I felt so great that I didn't rest like they told me to. So then I had an infection. So I got laid down again. But yeah, it was he said it was a mess in there when the doctor, it was exploded, and I'm still having like withdrawal symptoms, all that silicone's still coming out, but I know I'm on the path to greater health now. It's amazing. It's funny how it's even my mind got clearer. But before I did it, I thought I saw a therapist because it was a lot of mental stuff I had to go through. And that's what I was, I'm on this explant, implant illness site. And that's what I tell everybody that's getting ready to do it. You need to see a therapist and talk before. And she really helped me out on why I got him in. You know, I had to go through that because it's just, yeah, it's a lot of mental too, is what I was trying to say.
Claire, did you go through a therapist, or is that part of your process?
I went to a therapist before I had the explant.
Yeah.
Before I had it. I haven't seen her afterwards because she just brought up a lot of stuff that I'd never thought about. Like, why did you get it? And I didn't want to go there. Like, I was embarrassed I was embarrassed because I feel like it's an egotistical thing. And I did it because I was a dancer at the time. I was going to get a job in Vegas as a showgirl, but the director said, you need to get implants because we do topless at the end of the show. And I was flat chested as a dancer. I was real skinny. And plus I was always wanting them anyway. So I got it for that reason. And then I never did that job.
Would that be the same for you, Claire? Because you were on The Bachelorette for 10 years. There was a lot of pressure around the audience of it. Is that kind of how you felt, Claire?
I don't think I felt pressure. I think I was just surrounded by women who all had them.
Yes.
And
same here. Everybody had them. Every dancer
had them. You never hear of problems or never heard of the problems. And it was just one of those things of like, this is what beautiful is this is what feminine is these. And after I was on the show, it was like, oh, I want to be able to not wear the padded tops and not be self-conscious and not have all this judgment. And because when being on the show, people just shred you apart to a million pieces and judge and this and that. And it's like, it can't help, like, you're human. It gets in your brain when people are saying,
you judge yourself too.
Yeah, totally. And so it started to question myself, but I definitely did a lot of therapy because I was doing a lot of therapy anyway, just because of childhood stuff. And I think therapy is so good and so helpful for everybody who doesn't have traumas and who doesn't have things that affect them. So I've always had this drive to be mentally the best person I could be and just be mentally healthy. That's always been a priority to me. So always done it, but it helped me talk through it of like, oh yeah, why did I do this? What do I think I need this for? And yeah.
So you're going through the toxic release right now, the change in it, and it's pretty new. What was it like for you? You've been like, what, about 4 months, 5 months?
God, it seems like 2 months, but it's been August, so I guess it's been a while.
September,
Yeah.
October, November. Okay, well, 3 months. 3 months. So, Claire, what do you remember what it was like for you at that time?
Yeah, I remember instantly the second I got out of surgery, I was like, oh, I can breathe. This is amazing. Like, I felt so good. And then it kind of started kicking in of like, oh, I have to keep up on the work. I have to keep up on everything because taking them out is a huge part of it. That relieves a ton of like, obviously it relieves the cause of it. But like you were saying, when it leaches, the whole point of it, what they do is they leach into your body. And it's important, I think other people out there who are considering this, if you're considering taking these out, make sure you get to a doctor that does a full capsulectomy as well, that takes the full capsule around your implant. So there's your implant and then the scar tissue around it that your body builds up. You have to remember to take that out because that's where all those toxins leach into that capsule and that shell that your body builds up around it. So if you leave that shell in your body, you're just leaving all those toxins in and it's having to go through your liver and cycle through all that. But your liver is still going to be, I mean, there's so many parts of your body. When you start seeing the symptoms and the effects of the toxins from the implants, it's because it's all systemically in you. It's in your liver. It's in everything that your body filters naturally. It's overloaded. That's why you're getting all the symptoms and it's finally coming out. So you have to not only take them out, take the capsules out as well, but clean up your liver, keep continuing to detox because it's still a couple years later for me, I'm still going through the phases of like where I have an overload of toxins sometimes in my body and I have to keep up on it. I think it's a lifetime of keeping your body clean.
Is it come in waves?
Yes, for me it did.
Like I just like sometimes I'm down. I'm like, but I don't take it personally. Like I'm like, okay, my body needs to rest right now.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you about the lymph clearing. I did get all the capsules taken out, and I made sure. He said that they were busted, and it was pretty bad. But somebody that did it before said they get a lymph massage. But I just been massaging myself with my lymph nodes anyway, and then I get all this stuff coming out of my mouth. It's, like it's weird. Like
That's normal, actually. Yeah. Because what happens is the large intestine comes up here and goes right here. The stomach comes up here and goes right through here. So what happens is you have an effect from the meridians are affected and they're blocked because of especially at 33 years, the hardening of all the tissue around there blocks the flow. So for you, it would have been way more than Claire. Claire might not have experienced that, but that is really common for someone who's been 3 decades.
And I can't raise my arm. I mean, I haven't been in a long time, but I could raise it after the explant. Would that be like something that was?
Yeah, that's because the tissue, if you were to pull your shirt down like this, you're going back in there, you can't lift.
Right.
So pulling it down. So the movements that we did earlier with Claire, this is going to be posted live. Go back and do those movements on a daily basis. And then the other one you can do is the full upper reset, because the implants, what they do is they push out, they cause a rolling and a tightening of the jaw and the back of the head. So when you do the upper reset movements, it loosens from here all the way up.
Awesome. Yeah, I've noticed that. I just finished the 28-day reset, and I'm so excited. I mean, I for one, just to be dedicated to do it for 28 days was it was I just saw the improvement after doing the resets on my neck was tight, my arms were tight. Now it's just that helped a lot.
Yeah, it'll continue to help. You're on the right track.
Awesome.
And now the 28 days.
I couldn't even lift up my arm.
What?
I was telling Gary a couple weeks ago, when I had my implants put in, I felt like they cut a nerve. I could not lift up my arm at all.
Same here, and now I can lift it up. But I was like having people reach stuff for me. I go, I can't lift my arm up, and I didn't put it on implants. I was diagnosed with this fibromyalgia and this and that. So I'm just like, and then I was going to a neurologist because you're having nerve pain, and I was going to so many doctors. I was like, what is this? And then it didn't hit me till somebody was talking about it. And I was like, oh, wow. And I had 2 kids before, and I could not breastfeed for some reason. And then after I had my implants, I had my third child. I didn't mean to. I mean, it was like, because I wasn't expecting to have any more kids. And then I go, oh, shoot, they're going to sag now. But I got to breastfeed, and that was the most awesome feeling, of anything. So that was one of my therapy things, is that was good for that. I mean, that I got to do that. But now I'm thinking, what was, did I feed my son all these
No,
toxins?
hey, don't worry about that. I mean, listen, there's a lot more, and years ago, there's a lot less toxins. There's a lot more toxins in the everyday life of a female today, with PAF forever chemicals and the fluorides in the waters and all the toxic mixes from shampoos. The women today have a problem. When you had children, they're like, when we grew up, we had way less toxicity in the environment, and your body was naturally like 92% of women, when tested by breast milk, have jet plain fluid traces in their breast milk. And so, yeah, it's what we can do. We can't control the fact that we're absorbing chemicals, but what we can do is, as you learn through a 28-day reset, you could take the things that take it out, the diatomaceous earth, the Irish sea moss, and then by bathing, especially if I was nursing right now, I'd be bathing in diatomaceous earth, Irish sea moss, and boric acid. I'd be bathing in that every day, because that's taking it out of the skin and then taking out the body. So years ago, you had way less problem than today.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can't feel guilty about it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one. That's the number one rule. That's the number one rule. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one that I was going through. Guilty about everything.
Yeah.
And then I found out they only last for 10 years, my doctor was saying.
And that's actually BS too. I mean, there's a whole lot of things. That's also part of a revenue cycle. It's like, well, go get them redone. So basically, you don't have to worry about it now. It's just your detox right now. Since you did the 28-day reset, you can get an interview into the Lifestyle Artist program.
Yeah, I did.
And then you have there. Yeah, okay, perfect. And there's hundreds of other women in there that have gone through similar situations. So you have a lot more behind the scenes help too. And there's also doctors in there and people you can ask as well.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, it's a whole community worldwide. Everything from medical doctors to moms to nurses to massage therapists to models to everybody you can imagine is in that Lifestyle Artist program.
I teach kids too, so I was wanting to help out the children somehow on that.
There you go.
Perfect.
Well, we'll get to meet you in there. Actually, when you go from Lifestyle Artist level 1 to level 2, she does all the appointments. So as you graduate, you'll be meeting with her.
That's good. Talk soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Claire, that was perfect today. Man, you know what? You're just because you've been there and you've had the experience in and out, you can talk from both sides. And I think it's a one-sided conversation. You know, like if you haven't had them removed, it's a one-sided conversation. If you haven't put them in, it's a one-sided conversation. So it takes somebody like you who's been through it that can really actually bring reason and logic and emotions to it.
Oh, well, thank you. I try to just share as much as I can, because I don't, if anything, I don't want to sit up here and be like, don't have your implants, don't do this, don't do that, because to me, it's all life lessons for people. What I can speak on, like you said, is that I've had it before, I've had it during, and I've had it after. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything crazy or wonderful within that world, but I do know what it's done to me, and I do know what it's done to my body. And if I can literally help give perspective or give an opinion, I think there's so much fear out there of getting them taken out, because of why we get them put in the first place. But if I can kind of help women to give them hope to say, like, life is so much better afterwards without them. And from my perspective, and just even on the self-love front, like physically, emotionally, like life is just so much better without them. If I can give them hope, that's what I want to do.
Thank you, Claire. It's been a really, really powerful day. I can't wait till next week. I mean, this is making a difference. I can tell. And we'll be able to tell through all the DMs that come in. So thank you so much.
Of course. Anytime. I can talk all day about it.
And we will be next week.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Claire.
I love you guys. Bye.
Bye.